Today we build a convoy by revisiting the updated Stormworks Hole Builder. Let's get started. Hey guys, welcome back to another exciting video. Today we're taking a look at the Hole Builder again. It's been updated. People were saying they don't know how to use it, so we're going to take a look at it, and I'm going to show you how to import 3D objects that you can use for references, or in this case, props. So let's go ahead and jump to the web browser. Let's do that. Alright, so we are at the Hole Builder page. This is at r-3itch.io/stormworks/hole-builder, and this is where you're going to download it from. Now, a lot of people say it's not free. It is free. However, when you click download, you will get this nice box that says donate $1, $2, $5, or whatever you want. If you're going to use this more than once and you're not just doing a test, you should actually donate to the author for his efforts. I do use this often, so I did donate, but if you're just going to try it out, you can click no thanks, just take me to the downloads, and that will click, and then you can download whatever version you want. The latest version is version 4.8, which adds kind of a new interface, a few bug fixes, and it seems to be overall working a bit better than it used to. Alright, so once you download it, you install it. The next thing you're going to need is Meshlab. Alright, so here is Meshlab. You're not going to want to download the brand new version. I had trouble with this when I did testing. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to an older release. So we're going to go to the GitHub release page. We're going to go ahead and scroll down. Here's the newest version. And we're going to go to 2105. We're going to click on that. And we're going to come down here and we're going to get it for Windows. And we're going to go ahead and download this version. Okay. Alright, just worth noting, you do not want the newest version. It has troubles. Okay. Alright, so let's open up Hole Builder. Now, Hole Builder was originally designed to make holes. Like holes, not holes. You know, H-U-L-L-S, not H-O-L-E-S. Just in case, you know, wondering if you want to make holes. First up, you're going to want to set it to go to your app data roaming Stormworks data directory, and that's where it's going to put the saved XML. Once you've set that up, you're good to go. So after that, you can go ahead and import a 3D object in the .obj file, or you can use the hole that is here and resize it. And so what's cool about this version is you can go to measurements and you can do, let's say, medium dock, and it's going to show you that it will fit in the medium dock. Small dock, not so much. Medium hanger, cool. Small hanger, and of course train and custom. So you can do custom, means you can do as big as you want. If you have a modded workbench, you're probably going to use custom because you can make a giant object. So after you've chosen which size you're going to use, I'm going to use custom just because it's easier. We're going to go back to file and we're going to do our scale. So we're at 102 blocks by 16 blocks. Remember, in Stormworks, 4 blocks is 1 meter. But over here on the top right, we can scale this down, say to 0.5. We can scale it up to 4, which is huge, but we're going to take it back down to 1 because I want to show you, oh, not that 41, 1, okay, 1, because I want to show you some of the generation features. So if we go to generation, we have a few different things here. So no smoothing is what I'm going to start with. So I'm going to generate and just show you what no smoothing is. And it's basically going to be all blocks, no wedges, okay? So this is good if you want to do your own wedging or you just want to get an idea of what the shape is. Second thing we have is too long geometry, and what that's going to do is assume that you are using two blocks wedges. So if you're going to smooth this out, you'd use two wedges. The next, of course, is 4 long geometry, and so it's going to convert this again, and now you can see that we have 4 spaces here. So we can make a 4 wedge smoothing process if we want to bring that in Stormworks. Alright, what's next? Well, let me tell you. Basic smoothing. So this was the original smoothing. If we generate, you're going to see that it tries to add wedges, the 1 by 1 wedge, on the outside, as you can see, and on the inside. Okay? So the newer feature is the improved basic smoothing. And the idea behind this is you don't want to add more blocks on the inside. So if we generate, we're going to get wedges smoothed on the outside. Okay, there we go. We've got our wedges on the outside. On the inside, we have our blocks. So that is just so if you want to smooth on the outside, leave your geometry alone, or your cubes on the inside alone, then you want to do improved basic smoothing. All right, so once you have generated your blocks, you hit export, and generate XML. Depending on the size of the object that you've imported, this could take a really long time. Sometimes it takes up to an hour if you're doing a large, like, ship or something. Custom. Once it generates, which it already did, you go ahead and hit save, and that will send it to that directory, and you'll have it ready to import. But let's do something a little bit more interesting than the default hole. So we're going to go ahead and hit File, and we're going to browse for a .obj that I downloaded from the internet, usually from SketchUp or some other source. All right, so here's a Liberty ship that I downloaded. It is 14 megs, and then I think this one is my lower polygon version, which I'm going to show you how to do. But first, I'm going to go ahead and try to open it up just as a default and see what happens. Usually it crashes, so let's find out. Yeah, so it crashed. So in a lot of cases, when you download a 3D object, it's going to be very high resolution of polygons and vertices and all that fun stuff, and it's going to crash. So what we need to do is just go ahead and close that off, and we're going to go to Meshlab. All right, so we are going to go ahead and import the model of a Liberty ship that I found on the internet. You can find these by usually searching Google for free.obj download with the name of the object that you are looking for, like a Liberty ship. Usually you'll find these at SketchUp and some other sites like that where people are allowing their free meshes to be downloaded. All right, so we're going to grab the Liberty ship, and it's going to load. Now, if you're using the newer version of this tool, the newest version of Meshlab, you're not going to get these textures loading in, and then you're likely going to have trouble exporting later on, and it's going to throw errors and crash. So what we want to do is use the older version, 2021.05. Just saying that again because people don't seem to actually listen to the video, so I want to make sure that you heard me say don't use the newest version. All right, so now that we got that out of the way, you can't see because my screen is really high res probably, but there's like 136,000 faces on this thing. And so what we want to do is bring those down. So we're going to go to Filters, we're going to go to Remesh, and we're going to come all the way down to Simplification, Quadric Edge, Collapse, Decimation. Don't know what it means, but it sounds cool, and we're going to go ahead and click it. And we're going to change our 68,000 faces into about 15,000 faces. So you can try a different number if you want to keep some of the detail, but I don't know if Hole Builder is going to be able to handle it. So 15,000 usually does a pretty good job. And again, we're not going for all the details. We just want, like, you know, the basic shape. So we hit OK, and then I don't know if you noticed, but it kind of eliminated some of the detail. I'm going to close this off, and now we're going to go to Export As. Then we're going to set this to OBJ, and then we're going to rename Liberty to Demo. That sounds like a good name. Hit Save. We're going to uncheck all of these color and normals and all that stuff, because sometimes it crashes it, and hit OK. So that was saved. Let's go back to Hole Builder. Now, if we did this right, we should be able to load that demo. Here we go. You can see that it went from 14 megs to 0.8 megs. And we're going to go ahead and grab this. And there is our ship. Look at how pretty it is. Okay, so what we're looking for is we're looking for just to get the details in. We don't care about the ropes. It's going to make some of those into blocks, but we don't care. So right now we're at 98 blocks. Let's go to about 3.19. which is what I found to be the best size. If I was doing a semi-big, you know, convoy build, this came out to be the best size versus realism. But I'm going to be giving you the full size version if you want to try it. But yeah, let's go with this. All right, so next up, we want to do a generation. So we can do the improved basic, or we can do the no smoothing. So originally, when I was testing Stormworks, I went with completely all blocks, and it turns out that the wedges actually help the physics by going ahead and making them, you know, more solid parts. So you might want to go with the improved basic smoothing, or if you want to go ahead and do no smoothing and then go ahead and do the wedges yourself, which I did, you can do that. So I guess we'll try the improved basic. So the only thing to remember with improved basic smoothing is it's not going to smooth the inside. It will smooth the outside, but it's going to use not only wedges, it's going to use the half pyramids and stuff like that. So I don't know currently which is most optimized for Stormworks. So that's something we should probably try in the future. But for now, we're just going to go ahead and try it and watch how long it takes to do it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. yeah, it takes way too long. So we're not going to do that. We're just going to do a smaller file. We're going to do like 2. No, we're going to do 1. Ah, 1. 1, yeah. We're going to do 1 because I'm not going to do it all day here. This is way too long a video if I do it like that. So we're just going to get the basic shapes. If you want to play with this, you can. All right, so we're going to basic smoothing, generate, and see how long this takes. Now this is going to be much better because we're only doing 98 blocks by 15 blocks, and I can get away with not waiting an hour for my generation. And look, there it is. And it looks kind of crappy. Let's do it a little bit bigger. Let's do 2. We're gonna do 2. Let's do 2. 196 blocks. We can wait for that. Let's do that. All right, there it is. Not too bad. It only took a few minutes. So as I said, I haven't tested the smoothing version versus a non-smoothing version to see how Stormworks react. We're just going to go ahead and use this and we'll see what it looks like. So we're going to go to export. We're going to say generate XML, and then you're going to see it start generating down here. And let's speed this part up too. All right, so it's finished. Yay! All right, so once it's done doing that, you're not done. All right, so what it just did was basically write all of these blocks to a text file, an XML text file. And so in order to use it in Stormworks, we have to go ahead and hit the save button, and that is going to send it to Stormworks as a file we can load. All right, let's go to Stormworks. All right, so we are in Stormworks. We're in a modified build area. That's why it looks huge and crazy. If you want that, you have to visit the Discord, and there's a file in the help section. But what we're going to do is go ahead and try to load that file we created. Here it is. It's the Unity boat hole generation output. We're going to load it, and we're going to see our lovely build. So as you can see, it's trying to smooth it out. A lot of times you're going to want to see, I don't really like this. I really don't like the smoothing. I would have preferred to smooth it myself. But anyways, what I was going to say is a lot of times once you input these, you're going to see that the center is not there. So you're usually going to have to cut and paste 2 sides and add another block so that you can have a centered block between the two, so it's not an even number of blocks across, but an odd number. And so you're going to want to do that. And also a lot of times is the hole builder does not make the exact same build on both sides. You know, sometimes blocks are different. So what I usually do is clean up one side, cut the other side away, and then copy and paste my good side to the other side, and I have one object. Okay, if we go inside, see it looks pretty clean in here. We don't have the hole builder blocks. Let's just make sure there's no holes in here before we try to spawn it. Looks good. All right, so let's spawn it. There we go. All right, we're gonna get the Warneo physics. It's big. It's got a lot of blocks. Let's just hit F2. So always interesting with Stormworks. I never know what it's going to do with the physics, but as you can see, it's kind of, oops, it's kind of about to turn over. It's kind of not even bothered with the top physics. So good, I guess. It doesn't have to worry about that. But there are all our wedges. Doesn't look too bad. Might be pretty good. I don't know. Let me go ahead and put a physics flutter in there just to see what happens. If you're not familiar with the physics flutter, it tries to flood in open spaces with physics, so it knows not to try to calculate like every block or something like that, and tries to put things together. Not exactly sure what it's trying to do because I can't tell when it's working well or working poorly, but we're just going to put one in there. It's going to try to flood the physics, and now we should get more solid shapes. Can you tell? I don't know. I can't tell either. We got little blocks over there, and oh, this time it is going to flip over. So yeah, so this, oh, look at all those. Yeah, it tried. It really did try. But anyways, the point is that this is how you import 3D objects. I do not think that you should import 3D objects and then not expect to do a lot of work cleaning them up. A lot of times your builds are going to look terrible. In fact, let's take a look at a 1-to-1 version that I am going to be releasing on the workshop, so you can clean it up if you want to and create a giant 1-to-1 Liberty ship. So as you can see, this is 1-to-1. You're going to need a modified build area to open this bad boy up because it is huge. But you can see it kept a lot of details, and yeah, pretty cool. But yeah, you want me to spawn it? I'll spawn it. Look at that. I'm living dangerously. Hello? Where'd you go? Oh, there you are. So there it is. Oh, it's got a hole somewhere. That's not good. And there's the physics. Look at that. Didn't even bother with half the physics. It's just like, I'm done. So yeah, interesting. Alright, so anyways, I'm going to go ahead and upload this one-to-one vehicle. If you want to download it and rebuild it and make it all nice and pretty, you've got a lot of work to do. I'm not going to lie. But you will get a good indication of where the Liberty ship parts were, which is why I use 3D models, is to find out, you know, where the smokestack is versus the end of the ship, where the gun is, etc., etc. Before we go, let's go ahead and open up my convoy version, which is a Liberty ship color test. Let's open that one up. So this is probably about, I don't even know, maybe 25%, 45% the size of the actual Liberty ship. Not huge, but as you can see, I've tried to keep it really simple. A lot of closed areas. I did the wedges myself. We go down here to the wedges. I did simple wedges. So it's not doing the wedges where you're doing the inverse pyramids. It's just using the wedges to do the edges. And if we spawn it, we will see somewhere. Oh yeah, it's gonna honk because it knows that there's a collision detection here. All right, so there it is. And if we look at the stats on F1, it's getting 62 FPS. Now, I don't know what they did with the DLC version, the latest version of Stormworks that they released, but they did something with optimizations because I can actually spawn 17 of these without dropping frames, which is crazy. I can get to 62 frames per second with 17 of these Liberty ships. Now, I don't know about moving them and all that stuff, but I could do it. So what we settled on is 5 of these for our convoy with some logic inside and collision detection and motors and all that stuff, and it's working really well. So if we look at the vehicle physics, everything is flooded on the inside, and we've got large blocks, which is great for Stormworks. It likes those large square blocks for calculating physics. So it's doing really well. And if we go ahead and let's just get rid of this one because it is driving me crazy. So I just went to the editor and spawned my convoy. And if we jump over here, this is a convoy we saw at the beginning. Oh, look, there's all the blocks. Let's turn that off. Okay, so there's the convoy. And you can see I got a few different ships. We got this literal one and whatever that is. Anybody know what the name of that ship is? I don't. I just found it. I was like, hey, that looks like a old ship. Let's do that one. And so what I did is what I showed you is I imported them into the hull builder, and I imported them only as cubes only, no mesh wedging or anything like that. And then I went back and cleaned up the models myself. And when I mean I cleaned up the models, I'm talking about all these antenna things. They're not antennas. I think they're like cranes. But all these cranes and all that stuff, I redid those to my liking and tried to convert them just to like cubes. So yeah, so a big important thing is here. There are no pivots other than the guns. The deck guns probably use pivots, a couple pivots. But overall, if you want to make a large ship, don't use pivots. Keep the pivots to like minimal, like, you know, 1, 2, whatever, and you will get a lot better frame rate. So anyway, if you have any questions, I will try to answer them if you leave them in the comments below. But for the most part, you just kind of have to do a lot of trial and error with the hull builder and Meshlab to get some objects to load properly. Some of them don't load at all. Some of them crash, throw errors. But for the most part, if you reduce the polygons, you're going to be able to import the object that you're trying to do. And again, every object that you import is going to require you to clean up the mesh. Most of the time, 99% of the time, you are going to be rebuilding the whole object that you import to make it optimize and look good. So don't use 3D importing as a, import it and you're done and throw some, engines on it, because it doesn't work. You have to actually spend time with a mesh, and that's what takes forever is your rebuilding. So yeah, it's just a tool to help you. So that is it for today. Before I let you go, let me just say that the Liberty 1-to-1 version is in the description below, a link to the workshop. You can download it and try to make it into a 1-to-1 version if you like. It requires a lot of cleanup, so it is going to be a large project. I am not interested in doing it, but I figured maybe somebody wanted to play with it or test it. They can. So that is it for today. If you haven't done so already, hit the bell so it goes ding dong when I upload a video. Whoa, where are they? And I will see you next time. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot one thing. The Stormy Awards voting is coming to an end at the end of October. If you haven't voted, and I know a lot of you have not voted for everything because only a few have many votes. So make sure you go to endoschool.com and vote for all of the categories because we need to know who the winner is. All right, I'll see you next time.